Shree namaha. The divine blessings of our Mother Divine Lalita Mahatri Sundari and Father Divine Lord Mahadeva. We have been discussing the Holy Lalita Sahasranamam and those divine efforts. In the last episode, we discussed Nitya Parakramato Nirikshana Samutsuka, how the good and bad in us are engaged in a constant fight, and when we help the good in us to win over the evil, how the Divine Mother Lalita helps us to evolve on the spiritual path is what we discussed in the form of Nitya Devatas, the 15 Devatas who rule every day. The 15 days from Amavasya to Purnima and the 15 days from the Purnima to Amavasya are ruled by these Nitya Devatas. When we are able to follow the dharmic activities during these 15 days, we will be led to the 16th Tithi that is not visible to the naked eye, which is the Mother Divine herself, Lalita Mahatripura Sundari. There are many stories connected with this Namam Nitya Parakramadopa Nirikshan Samutsuka to show how the tiny efforts, like the tiny drops that make an ocean, the tiny good efforts lead in the transformation of a person. Today we'll discuss the story of none other than Vishwamitra, the Brahma Rishi. Vishwamitra was a king born as a Kshatriya. Once after winning a war, he and his armies were returning back. As they were retreating back to their kingdom, they happened to pass over Brahma Rishi Vasishtha's ashramam, who was the Kulaguru of the Ikshvak Vamsham, or the Sun dynasty, in which Mahavishnu was born as Rama. When Vishwamitra came to that ashram, Vasishtha Maharshi, following all the Atithi Maryadas, asked him to accept the lunch because it was almost noon, and therefore have lunch as prasadam and then leave his ashram after lunch. Vishwamitra very kindly said, there are hundreds of thousands of armies and it probably will be a problem for the Guru to provide lunch. Therefore he respectfully declined the offer. And when Vishwamitra declined, Vasishtha insisted that it's okay, it doesn't take a lot of effort. And after persistent request from Vasishtha, Vishwamitra finally said yes, and he was of the opinion that by the time the meal is prepared and served, it will take a couple of more hours. Therefore, Vishwamitra summoned his commanders and asked them to take rest and come back in an hour's time, at which Vasishtha Maharshi or Brahmarisi Vasishtha said, no need, ask them to sit in a line. And then a cow walked by, and Vasishtha Maharshi looked at the cow, bowed down to it and said, Mother Shabala. Shabala is the daughter of Kamadhenu, and requesting Shabala, Vishwamitra was looking at this divine cow when Vasishtha spoke to the Shabala and said, can you please produce whatever each of these soldiers desire to eat? And as she started walking, magically a plate appeared in front of everyone, and whatever they aspired to eat, they desired to eat, that appeared in their plate. And sumptuously they enjoyed the meal, and finishing the meal, everyone was so grateful. And at that point, Vishwamitra came to Vasishtha and said, thank you so much for honoring us with the great food, delicious one. Now, I'm the king of this land, so everything, all the precious things in this land do belong to me. Therefore, I request you to give me Shabala, the daughter of Kamadhenu. To which Vasishtha responded saying, my whole life is dependent on Shabala. If I need to wake up and do puja, I need to have milk to offer to the god, and similarly all the prasadam, everything for me to maintain my Daiva Dharmam or Daivika Dharmam, I am dependent on Shabala. Shabala and I appear like two bodies, but we are one soul. Therefore, I cannot give Shabala, who is like a daughter to me. And at this point, Vishwamitra became very angry and said, I respectfully requested you, now as the king and emperor of this land, I will take Shabala. So he went to the Gosala at the back of the ashram and started dragging Shabala. At that moment, Shabala freed herself and ran to Vasishtha and asked him, O Brahmarishi, did you give me away to this king? At which point Vasishtha said, no, I did not. The king is forcefully taking you and parting you away from me. And the emperor's arrogance is what is blinding him. Therefore, the ego and arrogance are making him behave like this. If you can't protect yourself, then I will definitely come to your rescue and protect. But, O Mother Shabala, you created all the food for them. So it doesn't take a long time for you to create an army which can bring an end to them. Saying this, when Vasishtha Maharshi finished the sentence, Shabala made an Rumkaram, like all the cows do, the Ambha Ravam. The Shabala did an Ambha with very ferocious tone, and then double the army of Vishwamitra was produced, and in 14 minutes time all his army was killed and Vishwamitra was spared. Then Vishwamitra came to Vasishtha and said, this is unbelievable. How can this cow, which produced food that fed all the armies and soldiers, in no time produced the counter army that killed all of my soldiers in 14 minutes time? And therefore he said, Dig balam kshatriya balam brahma tejo bhalam balam. Said, the bhalam, the strength of the kshatriya as a king and emperor, whatever force I have, it's absolutely useless. Therefore, I will go in search of this divine Brahma Tejo Balam. And once I get that Divya Balam or strength, I will come back and see to that I defeat you. Though the desire to get the Brahma Tejam or Brahma Balam, the divine strength, was good, the trigger or the root cause for which he wants to get is still heavily driven by tamasic. Therefore, when Vishwamitra went to the north to do a Divya Tapas for Shiva, he used Sadhyo Jataya Namo Namah, Vamadevaya Namo Namah, Ghoraya Namo Namah, Tatpurushaya Namo Namah, Ishanaya Namo Namah, the Panchavaktra Shiva mantra, which is essentially Sadhyo Jata Vamadeva, Ghora, Tatpurusha, Ishana, are the 5 faces of Shiva. Praying to this 5 faces of Shiva in the Himalaya foot region, Vishwamitra did tapas for 1000 years, and when Shiva appeared asking, O Vishwamitra, what is that you need? Vishwamitra said, O Lord, O Panchavaktra, I need Dhanur Vedam, and I don't have time for me to go take a shower and for you to do Achamanam and give any Vidya or Mantram when it is given. Typically, the Guru does Achamanam and then does the Mantropadesam to the Sishya. Since Dhanurvedam is from the Vedams, it needs to be revealed to the disciple as a mantra will be. Now, Vishwamitra requested Shiva that in a fraction of a second, when he blinks his eyes, he should know Dhanurvedam in and out. And Shiva said Tathastu, at which point Vishwamitra bowed down to Shiva and went back rushing to Vasishtha's ashramam, and he took every weapon available in the Dhanurvedam, Brahmastam, Pashpatastam, and attacked Vasishtha. Vasishtha stood there with a smiling face, keeping his Brahmadandam in front, and all the weapons went into that Brahmadandam, at which Vishwamitra was surprised and said, Oh, this is of no use. We'll continue this in the next episode.